Exciting times. We have received the keys for our first flip property and we are so excited. So yesterday there was a bit of a panic because of the insurance and knowing which type of insurance it was and if it's landlord insurance or empty house insurance. And so my investor was in a bit of a flap around that, but that took kind of 2 days to sort out and figure out with a networking friend of mine who helped my investor along because she's on her 4th flip now and so knew the ins and outs with that particular thing. So at least Nicola finally got that sorted and she could get the keys yesterday. I met with her and her mum and we had a walk around, we had a good look around, and we were just super excited to actually start the project now. So it's been a long time, but it's finally arrived. I met with the builder and he was super happy and excited to tell me all the projects he's managed himself and that he's done, which is very reassuring in a time when you need to work with a builder. So I met with them at 8:30 this morning. So I had to make sure I left an hour earlier because I'm not just round the corner. So that was that. I'm just peeling some potatoes because I'm going to make some proper fresh chips tonight for my son. So I met with Aaron this morning and with Ben, my mentor, and we had a good look around and finally deciding exactly what and where. And of course it kicked off with the skirting in the living room. So it's a beautiful, wide, broad skirting with some beautiful pattern all along the top. But unfortunately, whoever lived there just patched it up with some ordinary stuff. And there was 4 lots of patchwork in the living room. So we had to decide to just take it all out and put new skirting. So fair enough, that's what we're going to do there. There was some concern about the windows in the bedrooms because they're huge. One of them is a really huge window, and when you open it, it's a German kind of style. I've only seen them in Germany, and you can open it like a normal window, open right out to the side, but then you can also shift the gear and then let it tilt a little bit away so it hinges on the bottom. But obviously the mechanism's not working so well. So Aaron will get a window guy to come along and have a look. And we also had to break open the back door because all along they've said they've got no keys for the back door. And anyway, the back door's rather awful metal door and the frame around it is actually rotting. So we're going to have to replace all of that. So that's going to be interesting. So Aaron's going to get some quotes around that. What else have we got to do? We've got to, box in the boiler. The boiler's good. So we've just got to box that whole thing, pipes and all in, and it's in one of the rooms. Then we've also got to, so we'll have that service and we'll get a what do you call it? A certificate or whatever it's called, that one. Then there is also, in that room, there's also a, what do you call it? One of those trapdoors into the ceiling. So they have to go and investigate in there, see what's in there, whether there's loft insulation or not. So that might be something that we haven't quite taken into account. So I'm hoping that there is insulation there. But we'll soon find out. You live and learn, especially when it's your first one, isn't it? So yeah, we have to do that one. Oh, and we have a second trapdoor actually in the main house as well. So that, there's that tenement extension bit. There's one in there and then one in the main house. Right, and of course we've got to take that wall out of between the bathroom and the toilet. But there's a little bit of an issue because if we extend the wall from the toilet where it is currently to the wall that the outer wall where the door is, well, this is not going to make much sense, is it? But anyway, there's an issue with that because it will narrow the passageway quite significantly. So we've got to work around that. We've still got to figure out where the wall's actually going to go when we take that wall out between the toilet and the bathroom, and how it's going to angle. So that will be interesting to see what the final result is there. The kitchen's pretty straightforward, just gutting it and taking out all those, what do you call it, units, etc., and replacing them. Oh yeah, and there's 3 windows in there that are blown, so we're going to replace them as well, but that's not much of an issue at all. What else have we got? You know, and then maybe level off the flooring in the kitchen. It's a little bit bumpy down there. Then after that, we've also got the cupboard under the stairs, which is actually in the kitchen. So it comes, the door is actually in the kitchen and looks rather grotty at the moment. So we're going to have to replace that door. And then Aaron said to me that he is, you know, if we've got some excess, what do you call the paneling for the walls? Why can't I remember this? Not chipboard. What's the other thing? Plasterboard. That's it. Plasterboard. If he's got some excess, he's going to like just cover the walls on the inside of that little cupboard under the stairs and give them a quick plaster and paint so that it makes it nice. And we were looking at the back of the stairs thinking, oh, perhaps we should just give them a paint. But actually I'm thinking probably what's easier is to just plasterboard that whole back of the stairs. So it's just one flat, you know, inclined plane, and then paint that as well. Because that will make it quite nice, and with a bit of vinyl inside, it will make a nice little storage space, which I think will be nice for the kitchen as well. So that's a little bit of extra work there, but should be all right. Now, one thing we didn't take into account was that, of course, the builder doesn't quote outside the house. So we do have to figure out what we're going to do with the front of the house. I didn't quite remember that bit when the quotes were coming in. So, but hey ho, that's what we're here for, isn't it? To learn, to live and learn. So that's one thing. Oh, and of course, you know what was out there? On the wall above the upstairs windows, one of the National Grid cables was just hanging and looping between the 2 windows. So of course I had to go and ring the National Grid and say to them, look, you know, you've got this cable hanging, etc. And there's a box attached to it, which we're not certain what this box is. National Grid said it's got nothing to do with them. So I don't know, they wouldn't touch it. So now I'm waiting to see what the guys who were actually there and who spoke to them, what they actually, you know, what the guy from the National Grid actually said, so that we can figure out our next steps with that funny little box that hasn't actually got a box around it. So it could be something dangerous, we're not sure. So we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. And then of course the garden at the back. So we need to, you know, clear. We're going to use the back garden actually to put all the rubble and debris that comes from stripping the house out there. Because of course, in the place where we're in, if you put a skip outside, by the next day that skip will be full and then it will be up to me to pay for it all. So we're not doing that. We are putting all the rubble outside the back, and then you can walk down the stairs and get all the rubble onto a truck, and we'll have a professional remover take it and recycle it to wherever it needs to go. So that's all good. And I think, yeah, it's probably going to be up to Michael and I to clear out the back and just bring it to a neutral place where people can see potential and do their own thing. So I think that's in it, and you know, that's the basics really that we've seen so far. That's so nothing too problematic or anything. So we're quite lucky, I think. I think we're quite lucky with this project. And hopefully it will finish in the 12 weeks that Aaron has said it'll probably take, unless something else unforeseen pops up, which is possible, isn't it? So we'll have to wait and see how we go. So if you want to know how I'm managing to do this, I'll share a link to the mentorship that I'm following, or you can just reach out to me and I'm happy to have a chat about how to do it, because I've done it without any of my own funds, with as a joint venture with someone that I never knew before this moment. So it is very exciting. It's totally possible, and you just have to find the right people that surrounds you. So a big shout out to Laura for helping us with that insurance over the last 2 days. Anyway, this is real live property flip for my first project, and I'm just sharing it with you, and hopefully you'll be inspired to perhaps do the same. Take care and see you in the next video describing how it's going and what else we found that may be a problem. Till next time.